Hello and welcome to another MCO market update on Bitcoin. Yeah, without much surprise. I mean, markets are closed. There is not much going on here. Bitcoin is just moving sideways and has been doing the same stuff in the last few days. It's just up and down a little bit. Volatility, not even a lot of volatility. There was some volatility, early in the week, but then it's kind of died down and yeah, nothing going on here on Friday. I would say probably it's going to be a quiet weekend. So all we need to do here is to adjust resistance over to the right a little bit. So we still have resistance here in the area around 85.7, 85.8K. The market continues to respect our trend lines for this potential triangle pattern. And the support area remains defined between 80K and 83K. Why is this important? Because at the moment there is still a potential for a lower C wave. Okay, so for one more low potentially. The problem is there are many ways how the market could do that. It is, for example, possible that this is indeed a 1-2 setup of wave C. But then this here doesn't really look like a third wave. But it could still develop into a third wave. Then wave 4, wave 5, and we have 5 waves down in wave C, potentially targeting the 82K area. Why do I just pick 82K? Well, it's because it's not only one level that's there, right? So we have the 50% Fibonacci retracement at 82.1K. We've got the 138% extension of the initial wave W. So it's a possible target for the Y wave. In addition to that, we can also calculate a target for wave C. So it's just different ways to calculate targets, right? So we take the length of the A wave, we go to the high of the B wave that formed here on Wednesday, and 82.2K. Yeah. So there are 3 levels that meet at the 82K level. So I'm not saying we have to get there. It certainly doesn't. It certainly hasn't given us any confirmation it wants to go down there. At the same time, there's no upside breakout. So again, just sideways. But one way would be through a 5-wave move down in wave C, potentially targeting 82K. Another way is, of course, that this B wave is a triangle. Okay, but I'm not labeling it because it doesn't matter. I mean, whether I call the B wave a triangle or whether the C wave down has already started, it really doesn't change much. And to highlight here the B wave as a triangle, I mean, I really don't have enough evidence for that. But it would mean that we are probably going to see a little bit more sideways action. And if the B wave is a triangle, then again, the count doesn't change, just the way how the B wave develops. And it would be something like A, B, C, D, E in wave B, and then we go down. Okay, so bottom line is, I think one more low is still probable. But the probabilities for that would reduce with a break above the Wednesday high that formed around 85.6K, followed by a break above this 78.6 retracement, which is standard resistance for wave B. Because it could be that this B wave is somehow still unfolding, but then it should break. It shouldn't break really above that 78.6 retracement. So that's a key level. And then overall, what can I say? The levels are still relevant. I mentioned to you the Fibonacci support zone. Only really below the Fibonacci support zone, it becomes less probable that the white bullish scenario is playing out. And we would then watch the 78.4K level as last resort for the bulls. Any break below it will clearly shift probabilities towards the yellow scenario for one more low, maybe in the 70 to 72K area. But again, that's not preferred until the market really breaks below support. Please don't think that I'm very clearly bullish. I mean, it's definitely worth being cautious here. The market has not made a decision yet. And the pattern I'm tracking is a diagonal structure. So it's not an impulse. It's not clearly bullish. It's a pattern to approach with caution, I would say. It's a fragile pattern. But at the moment, the levels are still being respected. So still overall watching for higher. But in the short term here, potentially one more low before upside continuation. That's the update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.